Formerly suicidal redditors, what's something that kept you alive a little while longer and helped you to get through the dark times in your lives? Medication. Don't get me wrong, having a support system and committing to therapy are great solutions, but at a certain point you might need to recognize that it really is a physical issue that needs to be addressed through proper medical help. Finding the right combination of meds is difficult and trying, but totally worth it in the end. There is a lot of stigmas surrounding psych medications, but if I had to cite the number of reasons why I'm still here, Lexapro and Wellbutrin would be in the top 3. An excellent therapist. She's one of the greatest persons I've ever met. A promise to my cousin. My friend Brit was there for me. I sadly returned the favor and helped her get through a very dark time. My mom, I couldn't die knowing she'd have to find me. One of my pals was having a tough time. Long story short, I said, think of all the people that love you that will be devastated. That didn't really faze him. Then as a last resort I said, think of all the assholes on Facebook that will laugh about it. That worked. He's fine now. I don't believe in God or an afterlife of any sort. That means that the last thing I feel is pain and despair. And I want to feel happiness again. In ways, I sometimes wish I could have believed in those things. It probably gives great comfort and hope to people in times of distress, but this time it really saved me. I write books. There was always one story I just needed to finish. My mom. Never saw her cry for me or give me a loving hug. Somehow I feel I can't do it cause I'm all her hay has left. I have a very bleak view of the world in general, which is most of the time proven right and also not negative enough. Couple that with undiagnosed bipolar/autistic parents who have weird-ass episodes that I used to not understand, and growing up I felt like I was losing my mind. Talking to people and sharing ideas made me realize that I am entirely right about everything and that my parents have undiagnosed issues that they can't control, but that doesn't mean that I'm the crazy one. I figured that since I had nothing to lose, I might as well get angry and start making a difference, instead of just feeling sorry for my ass, starting with my own family. Which is why I'm doing my best to stand up for what's right, even if it means getting flack for it. At the same time, I understand anyone who does want to end it, and I even support them. This shit's not really worth it. I took my pup in 7 years ago, pretty much saving him from being neglected and mistreated by going to a home I knew was no good. I survived 3-hour walks in below zero snow days to work and back, just to get home to him instead of give up. All the way to a place I stayed that had no heat, water or food. I've walked in the snow 5 hours to take him to a vet. Through stomach ulcers, no car or medical insurance. Way past fibromyalgia, suicidal ideation and insomnia. Through trauma and PTSD from being raped and beaten. This dude's had my back and I'll always spend my time wisely knowing one of us will go at some point. If you do not have an animal and you're depressed, down and losing your mind, they will save your life, or at the very least make it more bearable to live. No answers, just more questions. I'm not enjoying anything in life, except maybe good food. Video games, movies were my jam. Now I get uncomfortable trying to sit through it. Even sex is bad because antidepressants cause delayed ejaculation and this shit is taking hours. Spend most of the day in haze and confusion that makes it difficult to do anything. And I don't sleep, just started Ambien and so far it is hit or miss. Prozac just helps me not sink into abysmal lows. I'm an alcoholic, so this life of absolutely zero enthusiasm 90% of the time makes it tempting to drink, but with 3 drugs I'm on and likely to black out, and if I drove that'd be it, lengthy jail sentence and almost certainly a suicide risk. So most times I just lock myself in my room and ride out shitty feelings/drug cravings. 2 to 3 hours later I try to human again. I know it's pretty stupid, but I used to promise that I would live until the end of Supernatural. I became so invested in it in my worst time that I had to know that they had a happy ending before I went. I made countless promises to myself to end it after the boys had finished their journey, even though I was so tempted, and even tried to do so beforehand. Since then, I've had counseling which has brought me a long way from then, and I feel like a normal human being now. I hope you are doing okay. Meeting and falling in love with my wife. The thought of leaving her alone made me have an epiphany that people who I might not see as close would still be affected. They made me consider that I'm also a person worth caring about, and it changed my life in the best way. I hit a few really low points over recent years. I'm in the military, so my wife and I live very far from home. To put it kindly, I've been a person that I'm ashamed of, but my wife has been there for me through all of it. I couldn't stomach the idea of stranding her alone so far from the people she cares about, and I definitely couldn't stomach the idea of disrespecting the support and love she's shown me by inflicting the culmination of my terrible choices on her. She's better than the human race deserves, and instead of giving up, I want to be better for her. The fact that I wouldn't want my younger siblings to follow in my footsteps, the pain caused to friends and family, and that suicide is a one-way ticket to hell, according to my beliefs. I'm much better now. I learned to appreciate my life. However, sometimes I miss the feeling of disposability, the lack of fear of death. Being able to walk on a ledge with no fear, or walk through a shady alley carefree. Did a parachute jump. I had been picturing suicide for a long time, but possibly plummeting to my death right then and there made me realize I was not quite as ready for death as I thought I was. I have had 3 attempts I remember, with the first occurring when I was younger than 9. Becoming cognizant of my problems, acknowledging their existence, and being okay with resolving them were some things that helped. I developed a strong will, built some confidence, and tuned into humanity to become more empathetic. I don't have time to cry for myself if I'm too busy crying for others. I was a science major in college, but 2 classes had the most profound effect on my confidence and self-esteem: public speaking, and ethics/philosophy. I have a lot of people in my life who love me and who I love, but I prefer to rely on myself most of the time. I still get thoughts, but they are rare, and it's usually easier to shrug them off. I was going to finally see a therapist before the pandemic struck, but I'm still considering it. I think I'm pretty decent now, but wouldn't mind being better. Deleted. I tried killing myself after a messy breakup. I got rushed to hospital after on pills and drinking lots of alcohol, also had lots of ketamine in my system. In the morning after they pumped my stomach and saved my life, I rang my mother to tell her. I told her I was on the hospital. She replied, "So am I, your dad had a heart attack." They had no idea I was in hospital as well. They thought I was still asleep in my room at home. That stopped me wanting to kill myself that day, knowing my dad could have died while I was being so foolish over a girl. I failed when I tried. Now I'm all my mum has, and she relies on me. So I guess I'm obligated to keep going for now. Be it by either chance or choice, I'm here. After 2 attempts to take my own life in the summer of 19, I finally stopped drinking and doing drugs. Staying sober saved my life, and of this I am certain. Things didn't change overnight though, but it helped me tremendously in climbing up from the devastating mental hole I was in. 467 days and going strong. Also, therapy, proper medication, and cutting negative things from my life. To me, those negative things were a stressful job and some relationships. Also, healthier lifestyle, which includes eating and sleeping well, exercising and spending more time outdoors. So yeah, all cliches but totally true. Edit, phrasing. First and foremost, faith. Nowadays, I've grown this sort of hope that life can be better because I have separated myself from religion, which I think is more reasonable. Currently suicidal, but mostly the thought that if I died no one would be able to take care of my mother, who is wheelchair bound since my older sister moved away and my younger brothers aren't capable to. My stepdad is deployed in South Korea, and my biological father is leaving across the country and has a wedding that I won't be able to make because of COVID this Friday. When I was actively suicidal in my early mid-teens, it was my 3 dogs. I knew that if I died, my mom would rehome them and that they'd not only miss me, but likely wouldn't all go to the same home, so they'd miss each other. Eventually that wasn't enough, so I just added into my note, please keep my dogs. Tell them every day I love them. When I got out of the hospital, I found out that a friend from my old high school had killed herself, and it devastated me. Now, I stay alive not only for her, but also because I never want to make any of my friends or family feel how I did when I found out about her. And #X200B. Rest in paradise, Alyssa. I miss you every single day.